Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Michaela. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I am really excited because in today's video, I am going to be launching a series of videos on makeup tutorial, how to, basically a breakdown of how I do my makeup routine step by step. I'm going to be creating individual videos basically on different parts of the face. So I'm going to have a separate video for foundation, for eyes, for eyebrows, for lips, for contouring, all of that so that you guys can go back and look at them if you ever need help on how to apply your makeup or if you just want simple tips and tricks of how to apply your makeup. I'm really excited to be doing this. This is something that I have been wanting to do for a very long time. So like I said, I'm very excited about this. So if this is something that you guys are interested in, be sure to stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so that you guys are aware of when I do post a new video. And without further ado, if you guys are interested in joining me along with this series, then just keep watching. Okay, so first things first, before we want to put on any foundation, before we want to prime anything, we want to prep our skin. And by prepping our skin, I'm talking about how we take care of our skin, our skincare routine. Are we cleansing our face? Are we exfoliating our face? Are we moisturizing our face? So I want to kind of show you guys what I use the skincare routine to help prep my skin so that I have a more flawless base, so that my foundation goes on a lot more seamlessly and a lot more smoothly. So for starters, what I cleanse my face with, which is my facial soap, my facial cleanser, all that, I use the Clinique Liquid Mild Facial Soap. I've used tons of different face soaps, and this is honestly my favorite. This is just what works best for me. Use whatever is best for you guys, but definitely be washing your face every day, twice a day if possible, with a facial cleanser. Next, I always recommend using either a clarifying lotion or some type of toner, basically to remove any other dead skin cells or just anything that's lingering on your face, you know, gunked up makeup, dirt, oils, all of that, so that you really have a bare face so that your moisturizer can seep into your pores a lot easier. So what I use is the Clinique Clarifying Lotion. This is in number 2. This is for dry combination skin. Once again, I love this. It gives a really nice cooling sensation, and I really know that when I'm using it, my skin is getting very, very clean. So that is my favorite. For moisturizer right now, I'm using the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gel Cream. This is an extra dry to dry. This stuff is really, really amazing because it's super lightweight. It's not greasy on my face. I don't mind using a heavier cream, but I really, really enjoy it because it just seeps into my skin. It's got hyaluronic acid in it, which is really good for plumping your skin, really retaining that moisture and keeping your skin super hydrated. So I'm actually gonna put some on right now because I just cleaned my face and I need to moisturize. I'm gonna take a little bit on my fingertips and just work into circular motions and just put it all over my skin and allow my pores to just really drink it up right now. And I also just wanted to mention, for those of you that are oily skin and you guys say, well, I don't use a moisturizer because my skin is oily. That is why your skin is oily, because you're not using a moisturizer. If your skin is basically oily, it means that it is trying to overproduce oils to hydrate your skin. So actually, the more frequently that you moisturize, the less that your oils will come through and they will actually start to kind of pull back a little bit. For those of you that are oily though, you don't really need to use a thick cream. There's so many lightweight gels out there that can really hydrate your skin without leaving your skin feeling super like greasy and gunky. So I would really look into that if you're oily skinned and you haven't been using a moisturizer. And then lastly, I like to use an eye cream. This is the Clinique All About Eyes. I love a good hydrated under eye. I'm just putting a little bit on my ring finger and tapping it under my eye. I find that most times if your under eyes are really dry and not hydrated, that's where a lot of creasing happens. So I would highly recommend putting a moisturizer or an eye cream under your eye. I generally use this at night before I go to bed or before I apply my makeup so that I am having as minimal creasing as possible with my concealer. Just putting a little bit underneath there, just tapping it. Fun fact, your ring finger is actually the most gentlest finger on your hand. So it's really important that when you do apply an eye cream, to use your ring finger so that you're not tugging on your under eye skin, because that's really, really delicate skin underneath there. Okay, and then lastly, for our skincare routine, I really wanted to touch on the subject of exfoliating. Exfoliating is really important, especially if you have a lot of texture on your skin, if you have a lot of built up like dead skin cells on your skin and you're wondering, you know, why is my foundation patchy? Why doesn't it stick to my face? Why does it kind of just look uneven and whatnot? It's probably because you need to exfoliate your skin. By exfoliating your skin, you're removing all that extra dead skin that's just sitting on top of your face, and you're leaving your skin feeling a lot more smoother so that your foundation can lay on your skin and look a lot more flawless. So there's tons of different types of exfoliants that you can use. There's some that are so gentle that you can use every day. There's some that you can use 3 to 4 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week. I generally exfoliate my face 2 to 3 times a week. I feel that I don't really need to exfoliate much more after that. Some people can do it every single day. Some people can do it once a week. It really depends on your skin type and your skin sensitivity. So I would really suggest that if you aren't exfoliating your face, especially in the nose area, really find something that'll kind of unclog those pores, remove the dead skin, and just really give you that nice, flawless, smooth texture on your skin. Okay, so now that we have talked about prepping the skin, we are going to go into priming the skin. There are an endless amount of primers. There's so many different kinds that you can use. If you're dry skin, there's tons of hydrating ones or luminous primers. If you're oily, there's tons of mattifying primers. There's pore filling primers if you have large pores. The possibilities are endless, so really cater whatever primer you're using to your skin and your skin type and your skin concerns even. So for starters, I'm going to be going in with this Kypros Antioxidant Duo Quench and Glow Serum. This is not a primer, it is a serum. However, I love using it as a primer just because it's very, very tacky. It gives a sticky finish. So I feel like my foundation can really stick to this quite well. So I'm going to go in with this first. This is a really nice milky, creamy texture. So I'm going to be putting it right on my fingertips. I'm really working it and rubbing it into the skin, over my mouth, on my forehead, all over the face. Really working it back and forth into the skin. Okay, so I'm going to be using another primer. You certainly do not have to do this. However, this is just what I like to do. These videos are going to often reflect what I do in my personal foundation routine and just like how I put on my makeup. So you guys can cater it to however you want, but this is just how I apply my primer. I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is a pore filling primer and I really enjoy it. It helps fill your pores. So basically what I do is I take my Real Techniques blending sponge, any beauty blender will do, whatever you have, and I'm really working it into the product here. And then I'm going to be pressing it into my skin like so, really pressing it in there. And I'm mainly going to keep this specific primer right in my T-zone area, so my nose, my inner cheeks, where I feel like my pores are more enlarged, so that it can really get in there, fill my pores, and give me more of a smooth, flawless finish. I'm really going to press it into the skin. I used to use my fingers when I did this step. However, I felt like the product was slipping out from underneath my fingers and not really getting into the pores. So I feel like by using a sponge or any type of, I guess, tool that you can really press into your skin would be nice. And I feel like it makes a huge difference when applying my primer. Don't forget on top of your nose because you have pores on top of your nose too. And then I like to put a little bit in my T-zone area right in here. Okay guys, so we have prepped our skin, we have primed our skin, so now we're going to be moving on to the foundation portion of our base. I am going to be going in with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. This is one of my favorite go-to foundations. It's a liquid foundation. I'm going to be using a liquid foundation for the portion of this video. So use whatever you like, whatever foundation you guys like. Don't feel like you need to go out and buy products that I'm using. Use what works best for you and your skin type. So to apply this, I'm going to be going in with the Real Techniques. This is the Expert Face Brush. I recently started using this brush and I really, really like it. It's a really good buffing brush. I feel like it doesn't leave like a lot of streaks on my face, which is why I really like it. So I'm just going to be putting a little bit of this product on top. And the only thing I don't like about this foundation bottle is there is no pump, so you have to be very careful when you are pouring it onto your brush or your beauty blender, because if you're not, it will go everywhere. It has happened to me more than once. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on my brush, be extra careful. And then I have a mirror right here, so if I'm kind of turned at an angle, that's why. My hair is looking a little bit crazy too, by the way, so forgive me. And then I'm just gonna start off in the center of my face, working out. So putting a little bit right here, a little bit right there, a little bit on my forehead. So we're gonna just be buffing it all in. I'm just kind of doing quick strokes across my face to kind of disperse the product, kind of almost stippling in a way. So the difference between buffing and stippling is you're literally just pouncing it on your face like you would a beauty blender or something like that. Buffing it is you're either going to go in circular motions or quick like this and really working it into your skin. So I honestly kind of go back and forth. It depends on what part of the face I'm working with, honestly. So up here on my forehead, since I got a lot of room up here, I'm going to be kind of like buffing it back and forth, swirling it in circular motions. I already have my eyebrows on. I usually don't do my eyebrows quite yet, but for this video, I put them on. Making sure you work down your neck. You always want to make sure you bring your product down your neck, even if it matches your skin tone perfectly. Always work it into the edges of your face because you will get a line of demarcation if you don't. Another trick that you can do, because a lot of people kind of steer away from brushes just because they're afraid of it streaking, but a nice trick that you can do is doing X's and going back and forth in opposite directions like this, and this helps eliminate streak marks. So you just go X's like so, back and forth. Circular motions, buffing it into the ear, down the neck, all the way down into the jawline, just really working it into the skin so that there's no patchiness or areas that were kind of left behind. I even bring it up into my eye, whatever is left over. Okay, so once I have it buffed all the way into my skin with my brush, I'm actually gonna go back in with my blending sponge and just kind of pat this all over my face. This is gonna soak up any extra product that's kind of sitting on my face that didn't get dispersed or buffed in, as well as eliminate any streak marks that I might have left on my face. Okay guys, so we have our foundation on. Next we are going to be moving on to our concealer. Concealers are kind of interesting because it kind of honestly depends on your preference as far as shade range. A lot of people will tell you, oh, your concealer has to be a shade lighter or a shade and a half lighter than your skin, and that is not the case. If you want a brighter under eye, if you want to highlight your under eye, yes, I would recommend going lighter. If you really just kind of want to conceal some areas and really keep it more natural, you can actually do the same shade as your skin tone. So there is no right or wrong way to do concealer. The one thing I will say is I wouldn't recommend doing a concealer that is darker than your foundation because that'll almost enhance more of that dark circles or that dark under eye rather than eliminating, which is what we want to do. For concealer, I'm going to be going in with my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I love this concealer, and by the way, I'm going to be using a lot of Maybelline products. This is not sponsored in any way. I just think that they're great products. They just have a lot of great, different products for drugstore and the drugstore price, and honestly some of them are better than Prestige, so I'm just gonna say it. The shade that I'm going to be using, this is 5 Ivory. So I'm going to show you where I place my concealer and why I place my concealer. So for starters, we're going to go under the eye, obviously. I'm going to put it right in the corner right here, bringing it down and then dragging it across my under eye like that. And then I'm going to pull down that excess product so it's almost like a triangle shape. We're going to do that on the other side as well. Bring it right in that corner, dragging it across, pulling down any extra product. I'm also going to be putting some on the outer corner of my eyes. Let me get some more on the outer corner because I get a lot of redness right there, so I like to conceal that. I'm going to be bringing it down the bridge of the nose, on my forehead. We're going to be putting it around the edges of our nose because as women we get a lot of hormones and redness right around in our nose area, and it's really annoying. I'm also going to be bringing it right where my smile lines are because I want to bring light to the area and highlight the area rather than creating shadow and making it deeper, and then putting a little bit on my chin. Okay, so while I look really funny right now, I'm going to explain to you guys that not only when you are putting concealer under your eyes, if it is a lighter concealer like this one is, you also want to highlight different parts of your face, because if I weren't to highlight my forehead, my nose, around my nose, on my chin, and just my under eye, it wouldn't really look proportionate to the rest of my face. So by highlighting other areas of your face that you want to bring light to, it really balances everything out. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Okay, so to start blending all this out, I'm going to start with basically everywhere but my under eye, because as soon as I start blending my under eye, it's going to want to crease just naturally with having a wet product under your eye. So I'm going to start with my chin, really working it into the skin, pouncing motions. And then I'm going to go around where my nose is and down into my smile lines. And really working that into the crease of my nose as well. So working it into my nose and then down onto my smile lines. Really bringing light to that area instead of darkness. Going up the nose, then onto my forehead, and really balancing my face out as to where I'm bringing light to. Okay, so now we're gonna go under the eye. And what I like to do is I like to pinch my blending sponge so that it's more thinner, it's more thin, and it can get really tight underneath there. And I'm gonna kind of work it up into the side of my eye as well. And then as I'm blending this out, what I'm gonna do is kind of bring it up onto the side of my face like this. This is gonna really help give that lifting effect. So up onto the side. And then I'm just gonna bring any extra product onto my lid. You can even, if you have any leftover concealer on your sponge, you can even kind of bring it down, especially if you have some rosiness on your cheeks. What I'll often do is take a little bit, just put it right on my cheeks, because I don't like to wear super full coverage foundation, and because of that, sometimes my minor rosacea can pop through, which I don't mind because I'm gonna be putting blush on later anyway, so it's kind of like, well, what's the point? But this is just what I do. This is my process. Like I said, I'm reflecting how I do my makeup in these videos, and you guys can change it however you like so that it fits your needs and how you like to apply your makeup. This is just to help you guys really step by step. Okay guys, so now that we have our foundation and concealer on, it is time to set the face. So to set my under eye, I'm going to be going in with my CoverGirl Advanced Radiance Pressed Powder. I love this powder. It's super lightweight, not super full coverage. It gives just a nice soft blurring effect to your under eye, and it's really, really beautiful. So if you guys haven't tried it, I would highly recommend it. I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. brush. I really love this brush just because it's nice and fluffy, but it's tapered at the top, so I can really get into the corner of my under eye to set the powder, as well as like in the corners of my nose area, those hard to reach areas. So what I'm gonna do is lightly tap some product onto my brush, tap off the excess because I don't want too much product going under my eye. That'll also cause it to crease a lot more. So just a little bit, and then we're just gonna lightly tap under my eye, looking up, really working it into my under eye. Tapping a little bit more product onto the brush, kind of bringing it down the sides of my nose too, working it really into the crevices of my nostrils, bringing it up in those hard to reach areas, and just really working it back and forth. I can't tell you guys how important it is to set your under eyes so that you don't crease. I've had so many people ask me, well, my under eyes crease so easily, like, you know, what do I do? And I go, well, are you using a setting powder to set your under eye? And they say, well, no. I'm like, well, here's your first thing. You gotta get a powder under there, you know, because if you don't have anything, that product or that concealer is gonna slip and slide everywhere. And put a little bit on my chin, smile line areas. Okay, so now that I have set my under eye, I'm gonna be going in and setting the rest of my face with a loose powder. So to set the rest of my face, I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder. You guys, this is a really, really great loose powder if you haven't tried it. Very finely milled, very lightweight. It doesn't feel super heavy on your face, and it doesn't leave your skin feeling super cakey. So if you guys haven't tried it, I would really recommend it. But I'm just gonna use a little bit. I'm gonna tap some in the cap. Okay, and then for my powder brush, I'm gonna be going in with the Morphe E3. I love this brush. It's almost like a bigger version of the e.l.f. brush that I used for my under eye. It's very, very fluffy. It's a dome tapered shape, so I can also get in those hard to reach areas. And I think this brush is amazing. It's great for getting into your hairline, under your jawline, the back of your ear. It's really, really great. So I highly recommend this as a powder brush. But what I'm gonna do is swirl this brush into the cap, getting it all nice and coated, tapping off any excess like so, because you don't want to put a whole bunch right on your face. And then the key to this is tapping. So I'm going to tap this onto my face and tap this all over my face, because if you start buffing it and swirling it, you could move your product or your foundation if you haven't set it yet. I'm just going to lightly tap this all over my face like so, into the hairline. I can even go back over where I set my under eye and nose. And then once I know that I've dispersed product all over, then I can lightly swirl and buff and just make sure everything is evenly distributed. So swirling, tapping off any excess, lightly tapping all over the face. In the jawline, can even work it down in downward strokes and the circular motions. Then don't forget the upper lip area. You can go under the eye if you need to, if you just want some extra coverage. Tapping it onto the forehead, up into that hairline, swooshing it into the hair. And I'll also show you guys a trick for if you get powder or foundation into your hair from blending it into the hairline. I'll show you guys a trick of how to kind of remove that powdery look on your roots, because That is not cute for anybody. Okay, so once I feel like I've powdered my whole entire face, I'll kind of, this is my personal preference, but I'll kindly go and like lightly tap over my skin just to make sure there's no sticky areas anywhere. And once I feel like it's good, I'm gonna set my face. Now I know I haven't finished the rest of my face, but this is a trick that I like to use so that my face doesn't look as powdery. The powder that is sitting on top maybe can seep into the skin more so it looks more skin-like. So this is a trick that I started doing a few months ago and I really like how it makes my makeup look. And it's also really helpful to make your makeup last throughout the day if you're gonna be wearing it for a long time. So that's a little tip right there. Okay, so to set my face, I'm going to be using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. You guys, this is an amazing setting mist, not only because it works really well, but because of the mist. Like, let me show you guys. It's so like, hold on, let me get some of that. It's so fine when it comes out of the bottle. I have had so many setting sprays and setting mists that come out in big chunks and globs and it splats on my face, and I can't tell you how many times my makeup has been ruined because of that. So I love this stuff because it's so fine, it goes on so evenly, and it also smells really good too. So I'm gonna spray this on my face real quick. I'm basically gonna go all over my face like this, and then I like to go on each side of the face to coat it all the way around. So okay, so once I have sprayed my face, this is a little trick that I like to do to kind of mold everything together is what I like to say. I'm gonna go back in with my sponge and I'm gonna press my sponge into my skin. I know, I'm pressing a wet sponge on a face that's been powdered, but trust me, this works. And it just makes your skin look so much more natural, not powdery. It just blends everything beautifully into the skin. So I would highly recommend after you set your face with the powder, set it with a setting mist, press it all together with a sponge. It literally just makes everything melt just beautifully together. Okay, and then my last tip for you guys is, like I said, to remove all that powder and foundation that gets caked up on your hairline. You're literally just gonna take a makeup remover wipe, wrap it around your finger like so, and we're just gonna wipe off our hairline. Be careful because you don't wanna wipe off any foundation that's actually like on your face, so be super careful when you're getting the edges, but just lightly wipe so that you're getting all that extra powder and foundation that got caught up in your hair, because we wanna blend it into the hairline, but we also wanna be looking cute. And I have been guilty of having powdery hairline one too many times, so I'm just trying to help y'all out. Alrighty you guys, so that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while we prepped, primed, put foundation on the skin, powdered the skin, set it so that it has a nice flawless look to it. I am very, very excited about the upcoming videos because the next one is going to be all about contouring. We're going to be doing bronzer, contour, blush, highlight, the whole shebang, basically showing you how to sculpt your face. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.